Hello guys, welcome to a new video. I'm here in Amsterdam again. I invited a friend of me and she's going to interview me. And yeah, I think it's very cool, because you guys can also know a little bit more about me. And before we start with the interview, I also want to say that if you guys also have questions or when you like to have some, when you want to know something more about me, I would recommend you guys to check out my Twitch page because I have live streams there and I like it to interact with my audience. The second thing, what I want to say is I have a Patreon page, and over there you can check out extra exclusive content like videos for just $1 per month. So that's the second link below this video. So
hello.
Yeah, let's start.
Yeah, so Wouter, I wanted to just ask you a few questions because, as someone that watches your channel, as we all do here, I was always interested in who you are behind all the languages, like what drives you, what makes you want to learn all those languages, but also a bit more about your personal life. And I think that's really cool also because, you seem like a very humble guy, very nice guy, very easy to approach.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. So,
I'm not just awkward. So
Let's start from the beginning. So take me back to the beginning of your life when the first language that you know of, that you've learned to speak, where you have been born, in what environment you were. Do you have any siblings, sisters, brothers? Did you grow up with your parents? Just take me back to the, 1-year-old, 2-year-old Wouter. How was growing up for you?
Yeah, I want to tell something about growing up. Yeah, but since I was, I think 7 years old, I already enjoyed it when I was, for example, in France, to use French in order to get something, some food, or I was saying hey Dad, can I order something? How do I say that in French, right?
Yeah.
And so at that moment, I was already interested in languages. So, and when I grew up, I think at high school, I loved it to learn French and German.
So all this time you lived in Amsterdam, right?
I lived in Amsterdam for till I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Then I moved to another village close to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And since I was 18 years old, I moved again to Amsterdam. And since then, I was living in Amsterdam. So I'm living for the longest time of my life in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I also want to say that I really love the city. It's very multicultural. So it's a very nice area for me to maintain the languages which I speak.
Yeah, okay.
And also to answer your previous question, what am I doing when I'm not making videos? I can just tell you guys the things which I'm doing in the videos, like talking to tourists, practicing languages. That's also what I'm doing when I'm not making videos, So it's like the same.
But it didn't always start out that way, I can imagine. I mean, you were 7 years old, so the only language you spoke at that time was Dutch, right?
Yeah, that was Dutch.
Yeah, and English not so much, just
a little bit of French, because
of school or your parents. So let's start from the beginning, right? You were born in Amsterdam, right?
Yes.
And you've been raised by your parents, I guess?
Yes.
So where are your parents from?
My dad is Dutch. My mother is born in Morocco. And I didn't grow up with two languages, so just with Dutch, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, it would be cool if I could also speak Moroccan, for instance. On the other hand, I learned modern standard Arabic, which is very useful when I can use it in order to talk to people from different Arabic countries. So, and I'm just interested in multiple languages, So I didn't grow up with the Moroccan culture,
Yeah.
I just learned Dutch, basically.
Yeah. And do you have any sisters or brothers?
I have a sister. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's younger than you?
She's 27 years old.
And you are?
I'm 30 years old.
30 years,
30,
okay.
Yes.
How many languages do you speak now?
Yeah, totally. I speak 19 languages.
19,
Yeah, but
okay.
I also have to tell that I think that I speak 7 languages at a B1 level or B2 level, and or C1 level, you know. So I would say my English and Dutch are on a C1 level, and my Dutch C2 because it's my native tongue. And then my French, Spanish, Portuguese, German, and Tagalog, they are around the B1 level on average. So and then the other languages are more A1 or A2. So I also want to tell people, like, if you have an A1 level, don't worry. It's very important to keep practicing these languages and to find a way in order to maintain it and to have fun. You know, it's very important. I think.
So one of the things in your channel is like it's a lot of fun in it. You're very interactive with people. But so you were 7 years old, right? And that's when you learned French or the basics.
Yeah.
Right?
When I was 7 years old, I was very interested in learning some French phrases, you know. But maybe already at that moment, it was very cool for me to to speak to someone in his or her native language, and I think speaking languages and connecting to people, and that's the most important thing for me about language learning. So that like people here are bringing something of their cultural background and they're sharing that with me in Amsterdam, or when I'm in another city or when I'm traveling. And it feels so beautiful when someone is showing something of that beautiness, you know. And that's my motivation.
Would you say you were always very social? As a little kid, you wanted to connect with everyone?
I don't want to say about myself that I'm social, but I would say that I was like always interested in meeting people. So, and I think that's something like which I developed more since I was learning these languages. So the interesting thing is that I think when I was 17 years old or 18 years old, I was actually a little bit shy and afraid of approaching people, you know. And somehow, when I started learning languages like Chinese, when I was 22 years old, it became easier and easier and easier for me to approach people who I don't know.
When you were 17, that's when you started to go into more languages, right?
No, it was more when I was, I think, 22 years old.
Okay. So when you were 7, that was the first moment you kind of got interested in different cultures, in the French culture, in this.
When I was like 7 years old, I was more interested in using these languages. But
but it didn't start then, right? It was not like you started to speak French and Portuguese and whatever.
I think learning all these languages like Mandarin, like Portuguese, it was more since I was 22 years old. So,
so what happened? So we go forward in time. Right? So you were saying you had that experience in France. You came back home. You were maybe inspired, but you know, time went by. You did other things, and you grew up. You were still in Amsterdam, I think, and at some point you started to develop your interest for languages even more. Tell me exactly when that was and what moment you decided to want to learn a new language.
I think some people know that. I'm an artist. That's on an area, and you find a lot of tourists there. The name of the village is the Zaanschans. I work there, and there I'm selling my work, my artwork. And over there, I thought it was very interesting for me to speak to people in their mother tongue. So I somehow there it was getting more interested for me to learn these languages. So I started with Mandarin, after that some other languages, and the result was that I was less shy. And it was easier to connect. And I also loved it that people were teaching me phrases, and it's so cool to talk with a native speaker. And
why is that cool for you?
There are multiple reasons why I think it's cool. I think first of all, people are happy, they're smiling when I'm speaking the language, and some people are even sharing their culture with me. You know, so for instance, there were some Indonesian people and when I was speaking their language, they gave me nasi goreng when I was working. So I was working there, I was drawing, and there was my lunch break. They just gave me their Indonesian food, and that's something which is very beautiful because I think there's a lot of hospitality in their culture, and that's also why I like traveling. But it's very cool that I don't need to travel because the world is coming to me, right?
Yeah, the world is,
It is,
Yeah,
Definitely.
some people go on vacation, you just invite the vacation to yourself.
What can I say? What can I say?
Yeah, so there are a lot of people that are very shy to approach others, and maybe they would be, interested in learning a different language, but you probably would have some questions about how then to actually approach them. And you seem very confident when you approach people. You seem very, outgoing, and I mean, you were always interested in people. But let's say if you had a word of advice for somebody that might actually want to learn those languages or some languages, and they just struggle to get out there and meet people, what could you say to them?
What I want to tell, I also said it before, like I've got more confidence during the language learning adventure, So at the beginning I was shy. I also think it's still difficult, when I'm learning a language like Vietnamese. It's not easy, and what I want to tell to people is, just try to speak with people, because it's not a big problem if you're making mistakes. It's not a problem. And I also think that most of the people will really appreciate it if you're trying to speak their language. And I also think it's cool to learn something about the culture, so in some languages, maybe politeness is more important. But I would just say, like, if you start practicing the language, I think maybe 70% what you're learning, or 60% is because you're hearing a lot of other words which they are using when they're responding. So a lot of these words you can guess from the context. So you just have to trust yourself that you're able to remember this, and it's going to be easier and easier and easier after a while. So
okay. So what was that point of what that motivated you to, get that interest to learn those languages? Because you might have a lot of friends that went to China for like a month, to Thailand, but they don't know the language. They have no desire to learn the language. So it's very, very interesting and very special that you have that desire. Now my question is, where does that come from? What motivates you to actually go out there and learn these languages before you go to a country that you are going to travel to?
I think it was for me a way to show my respect. So it was for me a way to to explore, but also to learn more about the people there. So for example, there you also have Thai monks, and when you're speaking to a monk, you have to say Long Pi U Tinai, which means where do you live, and when you say Kun U Tinai, it means where do you live, so you have to use another word for that. And I think that was the biggest reward for me was the reaction of the people. And I also made friends there.
Because of the language. So you say to show respect, right, to these people. So in a way you believe then that if you would speak someone's mother tongue, you are showing that respect. But then again, I have a lot of respect for Thai people. I never learned their language.
I'm also not suggesting that people who don't speak the language don't
I get that, but I mean, like,
for me personally,
something in that makes you is very important for you to show respect. Can you tell me a bit more about that? What is so important about respecting other people for you?
When I'm traveling,
it's
a very interesting question because I didn't receive that before. When I'm traveling, I'm getting something of their food, something of their of their happiness, you know, like everything, you know. I also wanna
wanna give something back.
yeah. So I wanna find a way to connect to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
giving me
They're
food. They're
giving-
showing hospitality.
So you owe them
being
something
being
back.
friendly, and
Yeah.
for me it's a way
Yeah.
to also connect to them. I think that
Yeah.
would be my answer. Yeah.
Yeah, so you feel like you owe it to them to connect to them with
Yeah,
them
but it's going
to
more automatically, you know.
yeah, yeah,
It's
of
not that
course.
I'm really-
It's not like
Yeah.
you've been consciously thinking of it, but it's very interesting
It's like the
because
same, yeah.
I've asked people for this interview, you know, what would you like to ask a polyglot? And the number one question I asked this to many people was what motivates him to speak so many languages, to keep on improving on them, to keep on going. And it's very interesting because maybe for you it's like second nature. I don't know, I just feel interested. But it's very interesting because you're saying actually that you are showing respect to
It's the
other
same, like-
cultures. And I guess you're
Yeah.
it's also your curiosity is there. Like what else is out there that I don't know of that I can explore?
It's a way of discovering. It's a way
It's
like
yeah.
speaking these languages for me feels the same like traveling. It's like
Yeah.
there's so much more to know about this world, you know.
Yeah.
So much elements which can inspire me, and
Yeah.
I'm indeed curious and I want to know more. So, and when I'm traveling and using languages, I can combine two of my
Yeah.
like talents or things which I love. So that's like
Yeah.
it's perfect. And
Yeah.
I can also compare it with you're inviting me to your house, for instance. You know, you're cooking
Yeah.
for me. Then I also wanna show respect to your rules and your hospitality.
Yeah.
The same for me when I'm traveling.
Yeah, like how
also-
people put off their shoes when they
Yeah.
walk in to show respect,
Yes.
for example. That's for you, like to learn the language.
Yes.
But I imagine, you know, at least that's how it is in my mind, and I guess for a lot of people, when I would learn a language, oh, that costs a lot of time, effort, and I have to really dig into it. But, you know, you have learned so many languages, so where does, you know, that time, where can you find the time to do that? Where does it never, you know, is it never too complicated that you want to quit or you think, well, never mind?
I think I can find time by putting my way of learning languages in my routine, in my weekly routine. So I'm learning. People know it also. You know, I'm learning languages on italki. But another thing which I use is that I'm watching.
Italki, can you? Yeah. Well, before you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I will ask something about italki. But you finish your answer.
I think it's very I think it's very important to find a way that you feel relaxed. So when I'm learning languages, while watching a movie or listening to music, it's very relaxed. Yeah, and I don't have to put so much energy in that, you know. So it feels like very natural, you know. When I'm meeting friends and talking to them and having a drink in a bar, using these languages, it also feels relaxed. So when you find a way to use these languages on a way that that you don't feel too much pressure, it's also going to be easier. And that's the way how I maintain these languages. So I also use social media. I'm texting people in different languages while I'm writing. That's also how I improve my Russian, using that alphabet, you know. And you're already using social media, so why not type in a different language?
Yeah. So so I guess we're gonna wrap up the interview. Before we do that, I want to ask, what's italki?
Yeah, italki. Italki is a platform. I'm learning languages there with teachers online on Skype, and I can choose my own teacher. And it's helping me in order to improve my language skills, and it's also very personal. It's one-on-one. If I have certain questions, they can also help me. And it's nice.
So to conclude, if I get you right, to learn somebody else's mother tongue is a way of showing respect and exploring the culture.
It's like
it's
becoming
like
a brother of them.
It's like becoming a brother of them.
It's like becoming a brother. So I've brothers in different languages, yeah.
And the way to learn as many languages as possible is to find a way to be really relaxed while learning it.
Yeah.
Because then it's going faster, smoother, and better.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important, especially with difficult languages, you know. So, yeah, just find a way that's going to be more easy for you, you know. Just look at other things which are interesting for you, like reading or watching movies, and then use a different language.
Yeah. I guess you got nothing to lose at the end, right? So even if people after watching this are like, well, it's nice for him that he knows so many languages, but I'm definitely not going to follow. Well, if you find a relaxed way to be, you know, if you find a way to be relaxed learning new languages and you want to know more about the world, you know, why not bring the world to you, as you said, and learn different languages yourself.
Beautiful words.
Yes.
Here we go.
Here we go. Thanks so much, Wouter. And
yeah, cheers guys.
Let's connect
very
another
cool,
time.
Yeah, very cool interview. And I really enjoyed it. So thanks for your time.